So let's begin this debate competition. So, hello and good evening to one and all. Welcome to Entab presents debate competition where we have young and talented kids from different regions of India and who will share their viewpoints on the topic. And then, before moving forward, let me introduce you to Entab. With an experience of 21 years, NTAP has been associated with over 1,500 schools spread across India, helping them to become new age digital campuses by providing them mature and futuristic ERP, CRM, and mobile apps. Okay, so now talking about the debate competition. Now we will introduce our lovely jury member for today. So our jury member we have is Vishakha ma'am. Welcome Vishakha ma'am.
Thank you so much, Megha.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. There was one more jury member, but due to some urgency, she'll not be there. Okay, no worries. We'll move ahead and I'll just make you all run through the rules of the debate competition. And the rules are as follows. Rule number one, each participant will get 2 minutes to speak on the topic. The speech must not exceed 3 minutes. Rule number two, after the participant finishes their speech, the floor would be open for interjection. Rule number three, an interjector is allowed only one question per contestant. Cross questioning is not allowed. Rule number four, speaking out of turn or any misbehavior can lead to immediate disqualification. Rule number five, the winners of this debate competition would be decided upon two criteria. First one, obviously, the scores given to all the students, to all the participants by the jury. And yes, rest remaining would be dependent upon the votes which the participants will get during the live session and after the session. All right. So a gentle reminder to all the lovely audience who have joined us: don't forget to subscribe the channel before commenting for your favorite participant. All right. Now it's time to begin Entab CampusCare Debate competition on the topic censorship should be practiced on internet, and we can start from for the motion category. So for this category, our first participant we have with us is Sai Ruchita. So Sai, can we go with you?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So I'm Sarishita. So censorship is nothing but stopping, blocking, or suppression of something which is considered as unacceptable. Censorship is essential and required irrespective of age and viewership. And this content, because the content available on it is informative as well as harmful. The extent of usage depends on the user's perspective. As a user, though all information is available, we should consider and use it in a constructive manner only. There is vast data available on the net, inclusive of useful and negative applications. For example, the Blue Whale app. It started as a game, ended as a threat. Banned later, it was banned by the government. So then, when we come to the media, all happenings in the society is vital for communication and informational purposes. But during an untoward violence or crime, if it is shown transparently, it gives an unrest in the society, which is a bigger threat for the people's living condition. And the repeat display of a negative event or a happening has a drastic impact on the people's mind. It also enables them to replicate it. Here, censorship could be a great help based on a particular matter, just by censoring the bad content, but also ensuring whether the content is true or false. Until and unless the content is validated with facts and evidence, it shouldn't be spread or released. Various internet platforms also follow these censorship norms, like Google, Yahoo, Twitter, and Facebook, and many more. Censorship also censors the sensitive matter from being shared. Also, researchers tells that 71% of the people agrees to the censorship that should be practiced on internet. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And after her, I would like to open the floor for interjection. Okay, let me check. So no one wants to interject. All right. Okay, fine. Then we can move to our next participant. So our
Ashi
next
wants to interject.
I have an interjection.
Ashi was there. Okay, I just missed that.
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead, Ashi.
As ma'am, there is an app on YouTube being very famous for its content. There are so many abusive and roasting channels present on the YouTube. So, what do you think? It should be banned or consensus? Could you just repeat it, please, once more? There are actually very YouTube channels which are very famous, but they actually use abusives and roasting of the people. So, what do you think? It should be censorized or not? Obviously, I accept that there are many YouTube channels which abuse people. Before abusing or commenting about any matter, they should keep in mind that when you're commenting, if it's about a person or a group of people or anything regarding that, you should keep in mind that about their health conditions. When you're commenting, some many people have different opinions. It's right to speak out your opinions, but you should keep in mind your way of language, your body language, your words that you use, and you need to keep in mind that people always don't take whatever you say. You have to be mentally healthy. Many people cannot take abuses, and there are laws also. And if any abuse done in India, mainly there is something called IT Act of 2011. You can really sue those people who abuse you with all vulgar languages, and it's not allowed in common site, and all these should be censored.
All right. Thank you, Suchita. Thank you so much. And our next participant we have is Rima. So, Rima, please go ahead.
Good evening. On March 15, 2019, two mass shootings were taking place in the Christchurch, New Zealand. The first attack was live streamed on Facebook for 17 minutes by the shooter himself. Keeping aside the hideous crime itself, I believe internet censorship is a matter of discussion in this event. According to the dictionary, censorship means suppression or prohibition of any media that is considered abuse or obscene or politically unacceptable or is a threat to security. Hi everyone, I'm Rima Ashraf, and today we're discussing whether censorship should be practiced in the internet, and I'm speaking for the motion. In today's world, there is nothing that is not available in the internet. We have access to them irrespective of your age, your location, or any criteria. Racism. Racism has always been a part of human history. And with the emerge of internet and social media, it has no boundaries. With the internet, not just the common people, actually. It's like the movie stars, the sports persons, everyone has become a victim of online racism. Many of you might have come across an incident following the UEFA Euro Cup 2020 finals. The players who missed their penalties were abused online, not for the lack of their abilities, but for the color of their skins, just because they were black players. A statement was issued by the officials following the incident, of course. But can the issue of these statements undo the damage caused, especially a man's mental well being? Will it make sure that the same does not get repeated? I don't think so. Rather, a proper censorship can make sure that these comments are not posted online. I strongly believe that the censorship is a requisite. But at the same time, the censorship should not oppress the people to protect the interest of any particular group or such. It should be to ensure the safety of people online, to protect the interest of the larger group. The censorship should not merely be a legal one, but rather a moral censorship. And I believe that the matter to be discussed today should not be whether or not we need censorship. It is about how much we require it. Thank you.
Thank you, Rima. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I would like to open the floor for interjection. So, who wants to interject? Okay, let me check. So, no one is there? Okay, no worries. We'll move forward with our next participant, and our next participant for today is Saurabh. Yes, Saurabh, can we go with you? Yes.
Good morning. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
Censorship is all about discussing what can say on deciding that people to view the media. Censorship is suspicion on a speech or sensitive, inconvenient displacement government by the government media other aims to protect children and vulnerable people by block and removing cannot people from seeing content in the media by removing it only in my opinions. I believe that censorship is a good thing, but I depend on the length that is taken and how extreme censorship gets. Censorship is a good thing, and video, image, or violent and improvement behavior may influence these eyes. Censorship would block the content on out of the reduce and people who will be this censorship.
Okay, thank you, Saurabh. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjection. So, yes, who wants to interject? All right, I can't see a hand raised. No one wants to interject. Guys, we have marks for that. Okay? All right, no one is there. No worries, we can move ahead. So our next participant we have is Astha Tiwari. So Astha, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, a very good evening to one and all. Respected jury members, my fellow mates, and all my dear ones. This is Astha Tiwari from Jagran Public School, Kannauj. Well, I'll take the opportunity to present my views on the favor of censorship should be practiced on the internet. As we all know, nowadays, internet has gained popularity amongst each age group. Moving towards a topic, it is very hard and difficult, but it is possible to change a person for internet, which are still for crimes, legal activities, and undue information, which are still rampant on the internet. The censorship of the internet can filter in inappropriate informations for children. As I'm a student, so first of all, I'll talk about students and children, as they faces many problems for some websites, like disturbing from fake news from some websites who have detailed instructions and crime and many more. COI means censorship of internet guards people from the disturbing email spam. It protects the life privacy of people. Because of COI, a great number of financial frauds, identity theft, and many other activities are prevented. As we say about protection, protection is not about the physical preservation of people and foremost. It is a force and guidance of the morals and the values of the nation as well. Now, at last, I just say that if there are benefits, then there must be some drawbacks. But this doesn't mean that we'll find this censorship inappropriate, because every problem has a solution. And if there is a problem, then there will be a solution. That's all for now. Thank you so much for listening me so attentively. Thank you.
Thank you, Astha. Thank you so much. So I would like to open the floor for interjection. So who wants to interject her? Yes, Brinda.
Yes, ma'am. So, as the fellow opposite contestant told that there are many disadvantages because of internet, like that censorship should be implemented. But I guess the first thing, the internet has many advantages. It does many have advantages, and apart from that, I guess what I saw was internet is not the first thing that is changing youth's mind or something. Like you see example alcohol, many youth and everyone are addicted to that, but government they themselves are running the alcohol. If that is not banned, why should this ban? Just because some cases wrong sort of information is taken, that doesn't mean the whole internet must be censorship.
All right. Yes. Please answer.
Thank you for asking. But I'll tell you that for the motion, I'm for the motion for the motion of this debate, and you're asking for advantages. I just told all the advantages, that if there's any problem, then there is a solution. Like I just say that a child, if child is facing any problems, then there can filter by the censorship of the internet. So it's just all right.
Okay, so thank you, Asta. Next, after her, we would like to have Deshika. So, Deshika, can we go with you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
A warm evening to all the esteemed guests. I'm Rajdeshika from 10th Standard of Holy Angels Public School, Salem, India. I'm here to support the motion, Internet censorship is needed. As you all know, I'm here to support Internet censorship. But before starting it, I would like to brief what exactly Internet censorship is. In layman's terms, it's simply the control on a stage of usage of Internet. So, why do we need it? Well, precisely, it filters the information in the Internet and restricts the flow of information in the Internet. It's a fact that almost 71% of the people agreed for the censorship over Internet. On the other hand, it also provides a security to our lives. But how? It keeps us limited to the safe websites and keeps us away from the unwanted websites. The freedom of expression is not completely suppressed. Internet users are free to discuss any political and social issues without risk of prosecution unless violates the hate of speech prosecutions in the criminal code. And I'm sure that this will lead to the protection of citizens, in turn leading to a safe country with a protected democracy. Crimes of fake news have increased dramatically in 2017. Fake news websites promote false reports just for money, and this is evident during this corona pandemic. When a fake news is spread and we believe it, divisive events like social riots, panic among people can occur, and this can make our country chaotic. And this can be prevented by internet censorship. And I believe that the best advantage of internet censorship is for the children. I say this because children are addicted to the mobile phones and the internet. When the internet censorship is over us, it can prevent children from murders and decapitation videos. And this will make a better citizen. And the most growing crime in this world now is identity theft. Identity theft is nothing but stealing one person's identity and having a fake profile. That's identity theft. But when an identity is very secure, but we believe that when identity is very secure, we don't be stealed. But for the fact, without internet censorship, many ways are there, like hacking and other things, to steal our identity. But when internet censorship is over us, we can prevent that a little also. So therefore, I conclude my debate by saying that internet censorship is a must for us.
All right. Thank you, Deshika. Thank you so much. Okay. So I will open the floor for interjection. So who wants to interject? Okay. Yes, Safa, you want to interject?
Yes, I have heard that my fellow debater was saying that the censorship is important for democracy, as if the censorship, like what we say, the censorship could help us in the expression of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So I want to ask her, how exactly does democracy go with censorship? Isn't there a chance of censorship happening into dampening the democracy in our country? Isn't there a chance that this censorship could destroy the democracy in a country? So what about that?
I thank my fellow debater for asking me this, and I feel that freedom of expression is not totally compressed. I don't say that democracy is inside the censorship. Like when people like under 18 or above 18, we have few censorship things. As we all know, under 18 videos, we have many things. When it is censored, we have a good citizen in our country. When good citizens are provided we have a good democracy, like we follow all the rules and everything, and that censorship prevents our citizens into a good thing. So when something is with us in a good way, and we too feel that it's in a good way, and our country too moves with a good thing. So I feel that that's the thing, and I added that point with this.
Okay, thank you, Deshika. Thank you so much. And after her, our next participant is Sajal. So, yes, Sajal, please go ahead.
In the words of William Westmoreland, without censorship, things can be terribly confused in the public mind. Warm and auspicious morning, warm and auspicious greetings for the day to the revered audience, honorable jury member, respected moderator ma'am, and my worthy fellow participants. It is an opulent opportunity to me to debate for the proposition of the desk. My worthy fellow participants would be coming down to the literal meaning as I apprehend. Probably they'll be trying to envisage that governing the uploadings of any individual or institution is erroneous. Well, it's indeed true. See, nothing can be controlled or moderated in a democracy. It merely signifies the reinforcement of contents in line with the age group or target audience, and the uploading must bring due consideration to sovereignty and the integrity of the media, so that they don't prove to be offensive, objectionable, or inconvenient to any gender, creed, caste, or sodality. The world is a zenith society of democracy, and the juncture that binds this highly societal sphere together is the internet. News, facts, terminals, entertainment, and social media are the essence of internet. Although being very conducive, the internet often vehemently blamed for filling the encephalon of the youngsters with all the debris of this negatory human breed. This censorship is nothing but a timber boom for this debris. For we know that the freedom of speech often ranges out of its limits in our country, and people start blaming whosoever elected by the draw of lots. So this censorship just is a restriction that chalks out the assets of what can be put on the internet. Bracing this, I would like to quote some of the regulations imposed by the Ministry of Information Technology of India on the internet. Chatting apps must aid in identifying the originator of unlawful messages. Intermediaries must set up a grievance redressal system to manipulate complaints vividly in a pace. They must provide deeds and assistance to authorized government agencies for investigation and cyber securities. OTT platform must set up a robust three-tier grievance redressal system. The Code of Ethics asks them for the authorization to censor each and every of their programs vigilantly. Censorship has a lot to do with the mere events in our life as well. It safeguards the children from getting disproportionate knowledge, women for physical and mental harassment and undue criticism, which they might experience after uploading something unknowingly, some of their credentials. It even gives value to our economical assets, which we might upload for promotion or business purposes. People argue that censorship bulges the devalidation of the privacy policy of internet. Well, there's nothing, it all rests in the hands of authorized people who will rather protect us from the unforeseen events which might lead to our deopulence. So we must not denunciate censorship. We must try our level best to channelize it on a large scale and hence fulfill the accomplishments. I would like to end by giving an excerpt from a YouTube video for those who will be coming, for my opponents who will be trying to defeat this proposition. They resembled men who spend the better half of their lives searching for a leak in life's gas pipe with a lighted candle. Thank you, and have a bronze day ahead.
Thank you, Sajal. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjection. So, yes, who wants to interject? All right. No one else except Brinda. Okay, Brinda, go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. As we already know that the WhatsApp's new private policy was changed, and many were not very happy with that. And you see, people are not happy about their privacy. They don't want to give their privacy to someone else, right? So I guess it's not a good idea to control or view anyone's private chats or videos.
Well, I owe you a question. Well, it's a very rare occurrence in the life of a debater where the question itself engulfs the answer. The last paragraph of my address referred to that. It all rests in the hands of authorized people. You know the word authorized. They're authorized to check it is just for our security. It is just for us. I would like to rebuke this by quoting a web series, which I had to urge my parents and make them believe that it's very safe to watch. Don't be afraid to give up the good, to go for the great. John D. Rockefeller, the richest American who ever lived. I think that question has been addressed.
All right. Thank you, Sajal. Thank you so much. Okay. So our next participant we have with us is Priya. So yes, Priya, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Priya, and today I will express my views on censorship on internet, and I will speak for the motion. Internet censorship is a practice of putting restrictions on publishing and viewing content on the internet. The censorship of internet can protect children from undue information. It can also protect the economic interests, life security, social stability, and national safety of a country. It protects moral safety of people and help people to form healthy internet using consciousness. That's it.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Thank you, Priya. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjection. So who wants to interject? All right, no one? Okay, Mahi wants to. Okay, Mahi, go ahead.
Can you give any advantage of censorship?
Yes. Yes, I can give censorship on internet to restrict the ability of identity thieves to gather data about you, and it can protect our medical records, security, social security, and driving license, etc., from being compromised.
Okay, thank you, Priya. Thank you so much. Okay, so after her, our next participant would be Divine. So yes, Divine, please go ahead.
I pay my gratitude to everyone present here. I am Divine, studying in City Public School from Punjab. And today I am here to put forward my views in the motion of internet censorship. If we talk about internet, it is widely spread and it connects people from all around the globe. Apart from this, people have started to make the negative use of internet, which makes it imperative to censor the internet. In fact, censorship acts as a double-edged sword. But still, it's important to censor the internet in order to grow a bud safely and securely. As internet contains a lot of devilish material such as violence, pornography, etc. Hence, it is necessary to censor internet to some extent in order to protect children from the negative influence of extreme violent and pornographic information. As parents cannot be always there to keep a watch on their kids. Even many adult websites advocate violent sexual abuse of women and involve them into prostitution. The censorship of these websites can help to reduce the sexual exploitation of women. Even the rapid increase of cybercrime is affecting people. Have you ever heard of banking frauds? These are the things which threat people's economic interests and affects them mentally. Censorship of the internet ensures social stability as well as national safety. A single fake news about a severe terrorist attack can bring a tsunami in the internet, causing fear among the people. Hence, we can say that it's not just only about our personal protection, but the protection of the whole nation. The censorship of the internet can help filter the undue information, which can corrupt the moral standard and soul of the person. Hate comments flood the internet, which defames a person's personality and can lead to several bad effects for that individual. In conclusion, I just want to state that people must be self-vigilant. When the country does not need any strict law for censorship, this whole situation will be idle and will give respect to each and every individual as well as the nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Divine. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjection. So just a second. Sadhvi?
Yes, ma'am. She told that fake information is the spreading of the fake information is prevented by this internet censorship. When fake information can put the whole country into panic, Why not a real information, a real false information about a big person who has a good muscle power can be made out of sight of the people, and that may also lead to a disturbed democracy, ma'am.
Thank you for your question. Actually, I think individuals should keep in mind that the rights are unlike any other subjects, and if you are protected, like you need to be protected enough in order so that you need to protect democracy, and censorship does not have any of the consequences with that, cause the negative people who put the negative comments on the internet are the real victims, because they are exploiting RTI, and also they are misusing the rights of expression and speech. So for that thing, I can say that fake information can be fake information can cause disturbed democracy, while the real can't. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Divine. Thank you so much. Now we can move to our next participant, Antra. So, Antra, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. So, good evening, everyone. I'm Antra Chawla, and I'll be speaking for the motion. So, this is one of those topics where there can be an endless debate. It eventually boils down to the discussion whether technology is a boon or a bane. As such, it depends primarily on an individual's perspective. Even though the internet is providing information to all for free, it is increasingly turning into a breeding ground for a lot of wrong things. A lot of you must have heard about the Nth Room case in South Korea, which got busted recently. This was a group created on Telegram where inappropriate pictures taken forcibly from minor girls were shared. If the links sent by wrong people were censored, this would not have happened, and the lives of a lot of girls could have been saved. Many cases like these are happening in today's time, especially with teens. I mean, nowadays, we're realizing that the worst people are not hiding in the dark, but instead in the light of technology in front of us. And it is crazy to see the number of crimes that have originated from the internet. The present generation of children are exposed to hate content and adult sites, which is misleading them. Dangerous clips such as sexual abuse on women is being uploaded on the internet, impacting young minds. It encourages violence and gender stereotypes. To protect children and adolescents, censorship is needed. Spreading fake news has become common these days, but they're rarely penalized. We have witnessed this greatly during this pandemic. Blocking such sites which create fear for no reason should become the norm. Terrorists are recruiting innocent young youth through the internet. Additionally, cyberbullying is on the rise. Rapidly increasing, privacy needs to be reduced. Human traffickers are also growing their exploitative business through the internet. Some people are using the internet to defame their enemies as a revenge tactic. We recently saw a case like this happen in India. Stricter punishments will help in keeping such problems at bay. I feel it should be the duty of the company running the social media website to ensure that only censored content is uploaded, as a lot of these companies are unregistered in the country and they don't pay taxes but earn billions, like Twitter or Facebook. So people who say censorship is costly should realize that these companies earn from everywhere without giving away a single rupee. Also, I feel that social media sites where you can interact with strangers should have stricter restrictions, especially for minors. For example, not disclosing your address or any personal details. I agree that extreme censorship is wrong, like what China or North Korea does is irrational. But democracies like India know the limit up till where they can censor things. This will not take away the freedom of speech and will also help people to be safe online. Thank you.
Thank you, Antra. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjection. So, yes, who wants to interject? Okay, let me see. Just a second. Sajal wants to. Okay, Sajal, go ahead.
As you said, that defaming, the politicians defame each other. I think you might be knowing that defaming and satiring are the essence of a democracy. If we do not satire the political party in action or any other religious leader, they might become a dictator. You see the same case in Russia, China, and now North Korea is a vigilant example of that. So how can you censor, defame, and satires? Sarcasm is very essential, very requisite for a democratic society and for a democratic nation like India.
Thank you for the question, but I think you did not hear my speech properly because I did not say that politicians are defaming each other. This was an example given from one of the recent happenings in India where a female's pictures were inappropriately taken from a man and it was put on the internet because he wanted to take revenge from her. And that was the example on which I was trying to convey my point.
All right. Thank you, Antra. Thank you so much. Next up, we can move to Mahi.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mahi. I'm going to speak in the motion in the censorship. Nowadays, the internet has been gaining its popularity at an amazing rate. The internet has become an important communicative tool which brings out significant and efficiency for people. However, internet has various limitations like the undue materials prevailing on the internet. Uh, for example, pornography, and violence, and the detailed instructions on the drugs use and crime. It exerts negative effect on the children's mind as well as physically and mentally. People are very active on social media. They are affected a lot. Thus, censorship can be needed for the regulation of internet. The censorship can cleanse the internet information and protect people to some extent. It can filter the inappropriate information online and protect children from disturbing the websites. An opinion survey carried out by Charlie's professor in Sturt University found that parents were worried about the children about the pornographic content prevailing on the internet. 93% parents support mandatory censorship on the internet because they can't monitor children there, because it's very hard for them to to have eye on them what are they browsing at any time and at any place, but the censorship can limit them. So it can be concluded that censorship is necessary to such a extent. The internet censorship can be a measure of protection. As the internet is open and comprehensive, the quality and authenticity of internet of information is questionable. There are a lot of undue materials online which are harming us. So it can be concluded that censorship is necessary to some extent. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mahi. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I would like to open the floor for interjection. Okay, so I don't. Okay, Sajal, you want to go?
You gave a statistical record that 93% parents support censorship. Well, once again, the great man, Benjamin Disraeli said that the greatest lies ever spoken are statistics. Can you give me any mere statement to justify the statistical record what you have given?
As we know, today the children are very active on social media. They see very fake news, very undue websites which are harmful for them. So parents want to control them. Censorship can protect them from misguidance. I think this is okay with you.
All right. So thank you, Mahi. Thank you so much. Okay, so before moving on to the against the motion category of this debate competition, so I was just looking at the live chat session which is going on over the YouTube. So guys, I can see shout outs coming up for Antra, then Sadhvi, Divine, Vansh. Guys, your friends have joined in to support you all. So to the lovely audience, just keep voting, just keep supporting to make your favorite participant win. But make sure that the votes of the subscribers will only be valid. So make sure before commenting, you just subscribe and then comment. All right. Otherwise, that comment won't be counted. And now we can move to the other side of the coin. Against the motion, so censorship should be practiced.
I would like to just stop here and ask.
Yes.
Rima and Saurabh weren't asked rebuttal questions, and that carries score.
Yes.
So we need to do something about that part.
Sorry, ma'am.
We need to take care of that part because Rima and Saurabh weren't asked rebuttal questions.
Oh. Okay.
They need to be, asked those questions in order to, mark them on that.
Ma'am, if no one is asking questions, that they won't get marks on that part. Now that is fine.
Okay, fine.
Right?
Please,
Okay.
please go ahead.
All. Thank you so much. So I was saying, moving on to against the motion category, censorship should be practiced on internet. All right. So we can start with our first participant for this. We have is Sadhvi.
Hello everyone, my warm salutations to one and all gathered here. I'm Sri Sadhvi of Holy Angels Public School, here to speak against the motion. Well, let's get started. In layman's term, internet censorship is a practice of putting restrictions on publishing and viewing content on the internet. Well, that sounds safe, right? But remember, every coin has got two sides, and so is internet censorship. And I'm here to put friend the cons of internet censorship. You'll all be surprised to know the fact that over 400 million people use private networks just to circumvent censorship, and over 83% of the people are against it. Well, that's weird. In Article 19 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, everyone has got the freedom to speech and expression, and this freedom is suppressed due to this internet censorship. For example, in a country where it is getting practiced, a simple social media post against a powerful person could be enough for issuing an arrest warrant against him. Ooh, so is it the very spirit of democracy that we always keep talking about? No, not at all. When the government first decides to impose internet censorship on its country, it first gives this authority to any agency. These agencies often take authority for granted, and they end up leaking information about the users to external agencies just for the sake of money. This leads to identity theft and many more scams unimaginable. Let's say the government itself has taken the authority of imposing internet censorship. It's obvious that the ruling governments would take advantage, and they will be using this internet censorship as a weapon to block those websites that will pose threat to their power. So now, the good things and the bad things that had to reach the common people is in the hands of the wealthy people. Therefore, this has led to a patriarchal society of rich and poor. The most affected groups among this internet censorship are the young entrepreneurs. Confusing, huh? Let me brief it. The young entrepreneurs are forced to have their ideas approved by any website before implementing it due to this internet censorship. And if a businessman of the same industry has got enough wealth, then he or she could potentially restrict these young entrepreneurs' idea from going. Therefore, this leads to the suppression of young ideas and thus cripples the nation's development. As they all said, this internet censorship prevents the spreading of fake news, and also it will for sure make the real news out of sight of the common people that will lead to societal innocence and ignorance. Also, in the economic sphere, there are a lot of resources that are needed to set up an agency that performs this function of internet censorship, and I'm sure that this would consume a lot of GDP of the country. There are many international institutions, including the World Trade Organization, that is against this internet censorship. Internet censorship, in fact, has become one of the most non-tariff barrier in the provision of online services, said by Brian Kingsley, is evident for this. I think I have consumed a lot of time. Now, summing up all my points, I confirmly and I strongly support the fact that internet censorship should not be practiced. And I think that I have justified it in all means possible. Last but not the least, on behalf of Holy Angels Public School, Salem, Tamil Nadu, I thank this very institution, Entab, for giving us the opportunity to be a part of this debate. I also thank the esteemed jury, the debaters, and all the people who are watching it live on YouTube for lending your ears to my speech. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Sadhvi. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I would like to open the floor for interjection. Yes, Ruchita, you want to interject?
Yeah, as you said that in a democracy, people have the freedom to speak. Now, even censorship is like a restriction to what you do. Now, we have for alcohol, as one of my fellow mates said that, for alcohol, we have some age restrictions. Now, we are in a democratic country. Now, why do we need age restrictions? You're like, for censorship, you need like a restrictions or a censorship. Then why it should be applied for anything in that manner? And when you set for GDP, if you know what you're writing or what you're commenting, or is it in a right manner, nothing would cost. It would like not even take a rupee of the government's money. What would you say for it?
Well, thank you for your question. I would like to mention that I spoke it in the manner that the freedom of expression and speech is suppressed. I'll illustrate it with an example. The ongoing issue of Afghanistan Taliban. So there, it is the freedom of speech and expression of the people that grants them the permission to speak the true news about the Taliban. But however, the Taliban are now shooting on them, and they are making and they are let's say they are not allowing them to speak. So this does not mean that they are detained of their freedom of speech and expression. Rather, it is their right to speak and expression, and many of the, let's say, journalists are detained and imported out of the country due to this censorship, and many of them use it in a wrong way, such as sometimes the ruling governments may use it, such as the agencies that are doing this may use it. When they use it in a wrong way, many of the talented people like the journalists and many more are detained out of the country. So this will lead to lower intelligence level of the country, I guess.
All right, thank you, Sadhvi. Thank you so much. And after Sadhvi, our next participant is Ashi.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my pleasure to be here, and a very good evening to one and all present here. This is Ashi Verma from Jagran Public School, Kannauj, and today I am formally against topic of censorship should be practiced on internet. So, as this is the era of internet we are living in, there are thousands of posts being posted on internet. So the question arises: are these posts appropriate? And the hate speeches that are available on internet can be censored. So as every coin has its two sides, it also has its pros and cons. So as I am against it, I want to discuss about the cons of it. So first of all, the first and the foremost thing is that it violates a fundamental right, which is the right to speech, right to express our views. For example, let us take an example of South Korea, where the censorship is practiced. Now, if a Twitterati have posted something which is against the government, he will be punished as because he was against of it, even if he was correct and the content was relevant. As also the second thing can be a lot of resources are required for censorship, as like a qualified workforce and the proper infrastructure, hell out of money, and proper government agencies and corporations, etc. And at last, what my point of view is that social media is the term which refers to sharing of knowledge and sharing of the information and data. But if the censorship is there, it actually contradicts the idea of social media. So I think sometimes if the criticization is the reason why the censorship has to be there, so ignorance can be the best policy rather than censorship. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashi. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjection. So yes, who wants to interject? Okay. Just a second. Yes, Deshika.
Yes, ma'am. She said the social media contradicts when censorship is there. Can you please give me an example? Where does it contradict when censorship is there over the internet? Just a simple example for it.
Thank you for asking a question. And as like social media, we usually share the information and data related to it, what we want. But if there is a censorship, it may be like immoral for others, but may be correct for some others too. That can be the other example of social media contradiction.
All right. Thank you, Ashi. Okay, so next up we can go with Brinda. So yes, Brinda, please go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for the opportunity. And I'm here to tell the facts against the motion and internet censorship. It limits a person's freedom of expression. As we know, we can't express.
No worries, Brinda. No worries. Don't get nervous. You can start again. Take a deep breath and start again.
Yes, ma'am. Internet censorship, it limits a person's freedom of expression. We can't express our idea or give any information about anything freely. And many people say that this censorship might help us and children from preventing from seeing bad videos or violent videos. But our history textbooks tell a lot horrors and violence about our past. That doesn't mean we are just not accepting the truth. And and we are accepting the truth and we are trying not to repeat it. So here's in fact media. Let's take an example of media. The media's content is far more violent than the than the content present on internet. And apart from freedom restrictions, there are many. Internet censorship is really too expensive for us, for a developing country like India to. For a developing country like India to implement, and rich people and money may rule internet also. Rich people can upload anything they want and view anything they want, but poor have to go through a lot of process just not to get blocked. The last thing we need is corruption, even on internet. And it's individual's choice what they want to see or view. It's left to them. We can't just stop anyone from doing any bad thing just by implementing internet censorship. And internet is internet. No one can monitor it. No one can monitor everything that goes in there. Thank you.
Thank you, Brinda. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjection. So yes, who wants to interject? Just a second. Yes, Deshika.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I just felt like when you said history books also have violence, is this decapitation videos and the history violence same? How do you say, in which point of view you say this and you compare this history violence and the decapitation videos?
Thank you for the question. Actually, see, we shouldn't differentiate between past or present. That you can know about the past violence, what was created, like French Revolution, world wars. They are violence. We know about them. We are learning about them. But when the present also has violence, like many things are going on in the present, that doesn't mean that we should be restricted to not know them. If we are learning about them, we need to know about this also. We need to face the truth instead of covering it up. And the fake news they are created because actually I don't understand one thing. Censorship is to control violence and not to see any violent that is hiding the truth, right? Again, the fake news is mainly are created because the hiding of truth. We don't the news. If we know the truth, there's no need to create a fake news for anyone.
All right. Thank you, Brinda. Thank you so much. Now, after Brinda, our next participant is Keshav. So, yes, Keshav, please go ahead.
Hello, this is Keshav from DPS School Tegram. The world of mobile phones and social networking sites changed our lifestyle today. Today, we are surrounded by social networking sites as if they are completely subjugated us. Especially the students of youth group are either online on social sites for 16 hours a day. While walking on the road, riding four-wheeler, their finger of their remains on the mobile sites. It makes us accident. Social networking sites have got the youth as a habit or rather as a vein like PUBG or Free Fire many games. When we run the sites like Facebook, Yahoo, many sites, the wrong ads come on the screen. When we run the site with our family members, some wrong elements come across. So they disturb that to our the familiar member. Students who get the homework from the school, she get attracted to the using online social media sites, but they attracted to social media sites some other. They forget what way they using internet. This wastes their time and sometimes students are not able to deliver work in the specific time frame. Low grades. Students get low grades in the school due to lack of desired information and writing skills. They have no knowledge. There are also disadvantage of social media network on health. The excessive use of these sites affect the mental as a physical health. Students do not take their meals on time and take proper rest. The excessive amount of coffee or tea to remain active and focused which affect negatively on their health. The overuse of this site as a daily basis has many negative effects on the physical and mental health of the student or the young or many one, and unmotivated to create contact with people in person on their children. When they use their internet, they should be guarded whether they are using it appropriately time period or not. The peers and teachers should also help students, make them aware of negative effects and explain what they are losing in the real world by sticking to these social network sites. And this is the advantage of the social networking sites. Thanks.
Thank you, Keshav. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjections. So, yes, who wants to interject? Okay, yes, Astha.
Thank you, ma'am. Well done, dude. And here my question is, nowadays parents are demanding for censorship to monitor their child and their activities. And if you are saying that censorship should be restricted, so prefer another idea to them to go in the against of censorship.
Yes, I will answer that the censorship. The parents or guardian will be regarded their students to the mobile networking sites. When the students said to their guardian, so I will complete my homework, but they are playing game like PUBG and Free Fire. So these are the negative effects of the social networking effect. I say that the negative effect of social networking sites.
All right. Thank you, Keshav. Thank you so much. Okay, so next participant is Vansh. Vansh, please go ahead.
Thank you, ma'am. This is Vansh. Good evening, everyone. I am here to speak against the motion censorship on the internet. I would like to raise the topic of censorship gives the authority to one person, one group of person. For example, government hires a authority or an agency to censor the internet, and do that authority follows any morals, or who oversees the activities of these groups. The ruling party can use internet censorship to prevent the things which are against their actions. And censorship is also limits the promotional opportunities. For example, the major social media platforms have promotional opportunities for the small scale and medium scale businessmen to reach the daily customers. But in the countries like China, where these platforms are blocked by the Chinese government, the Chinese businessmen do not have any websites or famous websites such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter to reach the general public or the customers. And the censorship method is also costly. The government needs to hire appropriate
and educated persons, and also need some and also need a well ma'am, it also need a well technology to do censorship on the internet. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Vansh. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjections. So, yes, who wants to interject? All right. Yes, Sajal?
You mentioned the word authority. I apprehend you know what it implies. And then you say that there must be someone to monitor the censorship authority. Well, that's a drawback on the part of the government that they don't monitor it. Why are you blaming censorship for that? It only helps in the upliftment of the nation, I guess.
Yes, Vansh? You want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for the question. But the government can use the censorship method to do the wrongdoings, and no one is there to monitor that. I was saying about that.
All right. Thank you, Vansh. Thank you so much. Okay, so after Vansh, we have Sharandeep Kaur. So, yes, Sharandeep, please go ahead.
Good morning, jury members and my teachers and my friends. I am Sharandeep and I am against in the motion. If censorship will be practiced, then the power of the people is low and the government's power is high, because the duty of censorship on internet is going to an agency or a group of peoples who have their own choice what material will be stopped. So I think censorship is not right. It allows the government to control the population. Anyone who went online to disagree with the state of affairs in the country was should away arrested or worse. Many were sentenced for crimes against the state or their religion, with a few even facing capital charges. Monitors, slow connections or shorts are assessed whenever there is a fear of organization or protest. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sharandeep. Thank you so much. So, yes, I would like to open the floor for interjection. So, who wants to interject? All right, let me check. Okay, so no one is there. Okay, so we'll move forward with the next participant. We can go with Primankit.
First of all, a very warm evening to one and all present here. And thank you, Entab, for giving me this opportunity. I am Premankit, and I am going to speak against the motion. Internet censorship is a practice of restricting the restrictions on publishing and viewing the harmful contents on internet, and it is done by the government. As we know that every coin has its own two sides, so internet censorship comes with some grave disadvantages. One of the main disadvantages of internet censorship is that it limits the freedom of speech and also the freedom of expression. In a country where internet censorship is practiced, it is very easy for a simple social media post can be a reason for an arrest warrant to be issued against that person who is posting that. And if freedom of speech is limited or restricted, then the people will be afraid of speaking about the evil happenings in the society, and this will not develop our society anymore. And our present government or every government gives censorship right to a particular group of people or an agency, and the agency perform the censorship accordingly. So do they follow the morals while restricting the informations from entering to the people's phones and all, and or do the government abusive officials restrict the agency from publishing their wrongdoings in the society, and who oversees them? How will we know that they are doing the correct thing or not? So it has been a very big question and a very a topic of debate in this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Primankit. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjections. So, who wants to interject him? Okay, we can go with Rima.
My fellow opponent from Ankit spoke well and clear. Also, have pointed about the misuse of censorship and that it stops the freedom of expression and speech. So let me point out a scenario I stated in my speech regarding the racial abuse. While the Globe was expressing their so-called view, they're happening to affect a group of people on the basis of their skin color. Likewise, so don't you think censorship would filter any such social hatred unless it's misused by the so-called authority or government for the good?
Thank you, my worthy opponent, for your question. Yes, censorship will do the needful. But in some cases, censorship are getting biased by the powerful persons and they are not letting the correct information reaching to the people, which will help the local communities, and they are being manipulated in many cases. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Pramankit. Okay, so after him, we have our next participant, Aditi. Okay, Aditi, can we go with you? Okay, so Aditi, आप म्यूट पे हो.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Censorship reflects the society lack of confidence in itself. Good evening to the jury and all my worthy opponents. I am Aditi Kedia from St. Mary's Higher Secondary School, Jharsuguda, Odisha, and I am going to speak on the topic censorship should be practiced on internet, and I am speaking against the motion. Now, what is censorship? Censorship is the suppression of speech, public communication, and other information, and it is done when the material is considered to be harmful, insensitive, or inconvenient. Internet is the largest worldwide network where people communicate, and in today's world almost every one of us uses internet. In the year 2020, half of 1.37 billion of Indians were on internet, which is almost 50% of the Indian strength. Government imposing restrictions on publishing harmful content is the best example of internet censorship. It was created with the objective of controlling cybercrime and leak of false news. But according to me, it has more disadvantages than advantages. Let's move on to the disadvantages. Now, we have a constitution which gives us rights for freedom of speech and expression. Where is that now? Due to censorship, we are not able to access to the true information. We limit the censorship limits the freedom of speech and expression. If it will be done in such a way, it can be harmful for people. For example, now, if there are two friends who fight they fight with each other. One will think, I'll do something on the social media so that I can destroy him. He will post something on which censorship is imposed. Now, without even knowing the whole thing, people will consider him wrong. It can destroy his future. He or she may be arrested. He may not get admitted to a good college, suspension, and other things like criticism. This is one of the major disadvantages of censorship. Now, a particular group from government is created in charge for the censorship thing. But how do we know that the group is correct? Are they working on the morals or not? The thing on which they are imposing censorship is actually abusive or not? Or maybe they do have agencies on which they may not impose censorship. We never know. Now, there are a lot of promotional activities which go on social media for small businesses, which are a major part of someone's living. Due to censorship, the small businesses can't reach to a lot of people. Now, censorship is a very costly process and a lot of resources is needed for it. In conclusion, with all the points, I would conclude that it is disadvantaging to have censorship, and I would like to end by saying that if we tear out a man's tongue, we are not proving him a liar. We are just telling the world that he might say something which we are fearing out. If truth is replaced by silence, the silence is the liar, and censorship is the art which is as lynching as to justice. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. Thank you so much. Okay, so I would like to open the floor for interjections. So, yes, who wants to interject? Okay, yes, Sadhvi.
Ma'am, she told that we are not able to see the agencies that do this internet censorship. So, is it possible in a very big country to have such a transparent agency to let know people about what is happening, ma'am? So, will this lead to increase in the RTI activists and so on and so forth?
We never know what is happening. We have seen a lot of movies in which we are shown that a lot of government people, they have certain contact with each other in which they are passing information. So we never know if there may be agencies relating to those authorities. They may pass out the information. So there can be a possibility of everything. We should just keep in chance everything. We can assume anything. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aditi. Thank you so much. Okay, so now next up we have is Safa. Yes, Safa, can we go with you?
Yes, ma'am, yes. So, respected jury members, my fellow debaters, and welcome. So, today I want to talk about against the motion of censorship on the internet. So, censorship, by the word itself, also my fellow debaters has also said that, is the suppression of public activities or public opinions. So, I don't know, like we are in 2021 and we still prefer suppression over what we have still achieved. So, suppression of the public activities, which can be seen as harmful, sensitive, or simply inconvenient. So my point here is like what could be harmful, what could be inconvenient can be very subjective. What I may see as harmful may not be what you see as harmful. So when we put an authority to look wise what is harmful, what is not harmful, that keeps our public opinion at stake. So I do believe this liberalization which comes with the internet is very close, that you cannot take that liberalization and the freedom is just an outcome of technology. It is that internet itself. So internet has this inert quality in it, which is the freedom. So I'll tell you, like for if you're gonna go back for 20 years, 30 years, I don't think we have to go that far, like 10 years before, what was the medium of communication? The TV was a medium of communication, the newspapers and journals was a medium of communication, but when something was going through the TV and we had an opinion towards it, how can we express it? We be screaming here, but that was not known. But today, we have the internet. We can put our opinions, our views on the internet, whether it be bad, whether it be good. We have the option to put the views on the internet. And what happens when the censorship come into act? It's done by an authoritative body. So there is a huge authority over it. They can say what is good, what should be given to the public, what should be censored towards the public. So we may feel that censorship is giving, it's blocking all the false news, but rather it's hiding something behind the veil. So I don't think that's not nice as the citizens who have came this far towards the liberty and human rights. Also, if you look about the countries which is practicing censorship, so if you look at the China, so the country which has which is the leader in the internet censorship, you could see they have been practicing programs called as the shielding China kind of things, where the censorship in China is very high. So when you look at the China, what they do basically is they web track and they block the contents which they feel that may defame. So what happens is that, do you know the first Nobel Prize winner of the China, Liu Xiaobo? Even the Chinese people are not allowed to know about them because he has done years of non-violent act against the Chinese government for surpassing the human liberty and human freedom, right to express and right to freedom. So he has been working on it years and years, and he has won the Nobel Prize in 2010. But in China, you cannot search his name. You cannot search his name because he is seen as an enemy to the government. So whenever you try to look for an article in his name in the internet, it's blocked. You can't see him. And even if you find one, that would be rarely against him. So it's very sad and pathetic. So the people of the country cannot know about their first Nobel Prize laureate, and also they cannot see. And he is also someone who has won that prize while he was in the prison. So that's something incredible, and yet we cannot know. So even though when I am searching here in the language Chinese, I cannot say his name. So I feel so bad that even we have came in 2021 and the views and opinions should be controlled by authoritative with such a lame mind. So I do believe censorship should not be allowed and given to public. You may feel that, ideally censorship, all those bad things like pornography and kind of things will be hidden there. But this caused such a big technical issue and social issue where people's right of freedom and expression is at stake. And I do think there is nothing more important than people's citizens' right and stake. So I do believe it's better to not have censored free internet. Let it be the criticism, but what we need to have a positive and healthy internet life. because we all are there on the internet, we are using the internet. So what we need to have a positive and a healthy internet life is to have strong cyber laws rather than censor. So we have laws, we have IT acts. So what we have to bring and practice that law instead of putting out censorship. So that laws and cyber law should be practiced. So thank you.
Thank you, Safa. Thank you so much. Okay, so now I would like to open the floor for interjections. So, yes. All right. Yes, Rima?
I'm sorry, but I would like to underline something I said, and I believe that matter to be discussed should not be whether or what or not we need a censorship, but it should be how much a censorship is required. So again, whenever all the debaters, whenever they're saying about the censorship and the misuse of the government and how it is being a dictatorship, don't you think it's not the censorship itself's problem, but the person or the authority who's handling it? If it's the government, so if it's not misused, if the censorship is not misused, or if it is given in safe hands, don't you think censorship being practiced is the most good way to maintain the social well-being and the mental well-being of a lot of people, a lot of community, and etc.
So thank you for my worthy opponent for asking the question. So the question is whether who is the safe hand? So where do you find the safe hand being in? That's the question. So you may feel that ideally when censorship is being applied, all those fake things and all those bad things could be censored. But when we come to the ideal situation, when we look into the charts and data of countries which is practicing censorship, you could really find the countries which is practicing censorship are the countries which is highly authoritative in nature, which is highly suppressing the people in the country. So I do not feel that we may feel that ideally it's okay, but when it come to practice, I do feel that it's lacking in many terms. So I do think the censorship in terms of child abuse and violent things should be made. But at the same time, when it comes to above 18 or when it comes to adults, they have their choice, what they want to see, what they want to express. And I do think that choice should be respected rather than an authoritative government or any body saying what they should be doing and what is potentially harmful for them rather than being harmful. So I do think in practical situation that doesn't go well with our good idea of being a censorship. So censorship in idea is good, but in practical could be a very harmful, toxic idea. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Safa. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next up we have is Ria. Okay, so Ria, can we go with you?
A very good afternoon to respected judges and all my dear friends. This is Ria Bhardwaj from +1 Commerce from City Public School, and today I'm here to present my views in against the topic censorship should be practiced on internet. Now I know what you all are thinking about. That what is the meaning of internet censorship? I'll tell you. Internet censorship is a legal process which allows governments, institutions, and even private organizations the ability to restrict access to specific online content items and websites from individuals. Now, once we discuss about the idea of free speech, there is always an element which says morally correct. Suggestions that go against the societal norms and also against the basic sense of decency are excluded from the conversation. But it should not be if the speech is free. Internet censorship reduces the economic impact of online communities. Once we begin to declare that specific items are good and others are bad, we start creating an influence to shift the economy of the society. Okay, imagine the internet being a place where a company cannot promote itself because its competitor has filed a complaint saying that those activities violate their rights. This is the real possibility when we are discussing about internet censorship. The people who make laws tend to get influenced by the groups who make most of the money in society. Once there are also internet censorship has concentration power in the hands of government. It may block access to honest criticism and opposition parties' websites in the name of hate speech and it can lead to dictatorship. Internet censorship like radical changes cannot be also spread due to this, because there are few orthodox leaders who believe that they may censor the content articles which says that women should be allowed to visit worship places, as now everyone has suggested what is good and what is bad. The content, every content which is censored cannot be can lead to protest. Thank you and have a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you so much. All right. So after Ria, I would like to open the floor for interjection. And so, yes, who wants to interject? Yes, Divine.
So my question is that how can you say that internet is not safe in the hands of the government?
Because internet has its concentration, internet censorship has its concentration power in the hands of the government, and it may block access to honest criticism and also opposition website parties, and in the name of hate speech, and also it will lead to then dictatorship. Thank you.
Thank you, Ria. Thank you so much. So after this, we come to the end of this debate competition. Okay, now coming to our lovely jury members. So Vishakha ma'am, over to you.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful hearing all of you speak. And yes, I made my notes, believe me. What all you were speaking made me make my notes. I would like to start by saying all rights come with duties, right? Also, I would like to say that the entire social structure is based on rules. Whether it's rules of the religion, whether it's rules of the traffic, whether it's rules with biological rules, but there are rules everywhere. So why not have some rules on the internet? When rules are applicable in the entire life, you're told walk to your left, drive to your left, brush your teeth in the morning, right? So why not have some rules on the internet? Rules are not restrictions. That is the first thing that I would like to tell every debater here. Rules are not restrictions. They are a way of life. Right? Whether you are for or against, I believe that speaking against a motion is more difficult than speaking in favor of it, especially when everybody agrees this is the right thing to do. Right? So I really appreciate everybody here, but then as a jury, I would like to say that the good and the bad has to be demarcated. Too much too soon is wrong. Otherwise, all the moms, I can see so many girls here, aspiring doctors, engineers, journalists, what not, astronauts. But then, did your mama give you the, ladle and spoon at the age of 2 or 3 and said, okay, go and cook dinner for me? So everything has the right time. There are rules to be followed, and which is why following the rules on the internet is an equal responsibility. A balance is something which is mandatory. There is certain information which requires maturity of time and thought, which should come with age. Internet is replete with information. I don't disagree to that. But correct information at the correct time is what is required. And to balance and manage that correct information, there has to be some kind of check, some kind of regulation, and also with the kind of growing crimes. When there were people who spoke about porn, the drug, the troll, the fraudsters. Some kind of check, I feel, is required. Nobody is taking away, like it was very rightly said by one of the contestants, that democracy means that we express ourselves. Right? So nobody is taking away that right of expression. But we cannot disrespect someone. That's for sure.
Right. Absolutely right, ma'am. So thank you so much, Vishakha ma'am, for sharing your views, for being with us, for taking out your time. And thank you so much to all the lovely kids. All of them really did a great job. All right, it was great hosting you all. So thank you so much, ma'am, and to all the kids. And yes, how can I forget to thank the lovely audience who have joined us? So thank you to all the lovely audience who have joined us. So now it's time to wrap up. Okay, so thank you so much. So yes, we'll meet you all on some other day, on some other event. Till then, stay happy, stay safe, and yes, to all the lovely audience, just keep voting, keep subscribing to the channel to make your favorite person win. All right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for
Thank you.
giving this opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.